Even on their YouTube land, Dan here from GeekCast Radio, doing another comic book review, doing another Marvel Fresh Start review, kind of. As this is not technically a Fresh Start title, but it is a new series by Marvel, a new miniseries with Cosmic Ghost Rider #1 by Donny Cates and art by Dylan Burnett. And this is spinning off of the world of Thanos Wins, which was one of the biggest, I wouldn't say surprises, one of the biggest hits for Marvel this year. Really kind of launched Donny Cates into a new stratosphere as a creator for Marvel. That, along with his run on Doctor Strange and now on Venom, he's kind of been hitting it out of the park this year. And now comes along Comic Ghost Rider, one of the breakout characters from that book. And now we're seeing him have his own miniseries. And this does take place after the events, kind of Thanos Wins. And it has one of the best just sum up pages of sums up basically Cosmic Ghost Rider's history within just a couple pages. Really Punisher's history in general. So if you have not read Thanos Wins, I think that you could actually probably pick this up for the most part, enjoy it. I would say pick up Thanos Wins because, like many, I highly enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Not surprising if Jeff Shaw and Donny Cates make a great team. I loved God Country, and Thanos Wins was no exception for that. So Cosmic Ghost Rider, though, how was it? My biggest concern going into this was if Cosmic Ghost Rider was a character that could sustain its own book. I thought Cosmic Ghost Rider was fine and enjoyable in Thanos Wins. I didn't walk away loving his character, thinking I definitely need a miniseries from him right away. But it being Donny Cates has me intrigued the most. If this was a different writer, I probably wouldn't be enjoying it or anticipating nearly as much. But since it is coming from Donny Cates, and I was a little sad that Jeff Shaw wasn't drawing this. But I gotta say, Dylan Burnett, who is a name that I'm not super familiar with, but I thought he did a pretty solid job. His style fits the character quite well. A little more cartoony, which is we're seeing a lot more in Marvel recently. There's been a lot more cartoony style. I mean, even having Ed McGuinness do Avengers. I don't know if that's a new approach, but they're certainly allowing that. And this, as I mentioned, takes place after the events of Thanos Wins, and we see Punisher, Frank Castle, is dead. Sad, I know, but his gift for being destroyed by the Mjolnir, the Hammer of Thor, being the warrior he is, where does he end up? In Valhalla with other Vikings, but it doesn't work out quite as well, and basically kind of kicks out of Valhalla, and Odin uses his powers to basically set this book into motion. And as a first issue, that's pretty much it. There is not a huge amount of story here. It's just, okay, this is what it's going to be. Let's bridge the end of Thanos Wins to the beginning of the story, and let's go. Which is fine, but I think this is a 5-part miniseries, so I'm surprised for a first issue there wasn't a little bit more story to it. I will say there are bits and pieces of this I thought were fun. Were the type of fun I was anticipating having. Just some ridiculousness that I don't want to spoil per se, but I'm just surprised that Donny Cates gets away with some of the stuff that he does in his books, especially in this, and this is no exception. As I indicated, one of my biggest concerns going is if Cosmic Ghost Rider can sustain its own series, and that's still yet to be seen because we don't get a lot of Cosmic Ghost Rider till near the very end. We get a lot of regular Frank Castle being his normal self, and if for those that didn't like the idea of Frank Castle being the Cosmic Ghost Rider, I think this gives you a little bit more answers to why that happened. Not much, but we see that there is a different voice compared to that of Frank Castle and the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Cosmic Ghost Rider is a lot more twisted, a little bit insane because of everything he's going through, and in this, he looks like he's going to try to remedy that in the way he sees fit. But still, there is that moral code of Frank Castle that's still there, or possibly still there, which sets forth kind of his mission to save the world in a way, or save time in a way he couldn't before. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It was fun. It was, like I said, it was perhaps maybe lightweight, but that's necessarily not a bad thing, because sometimes it's good just to have a book that's just like, hey, let's go for it. Is it to the level of Thanos Wins or Venom or anything like that? At this point, I would say not quite. It could get there, but I think it doesn't have as much going on for it. Even I think Venom has much underneath the surface, much more than Cosmic Ghost Rider does. I'm hoping we get a little bit more of Cosmic Ghost Rider because, in the sense of building him as a character, more we got more building of Frank Castle as a character in this, but the Ghost Rider himself is still kind of just like this. Not a joke, but not necessarily someone you're going to take seriously. Not a multi-layered dimensional character, which first 5 issue run that might be fine, but for him to I think be a character that might stick around and not be a flash in the pan, I think we'll need a little bit more, but we'll see. But if you just want a book that involves some craziness, if you want a book that just that involves, let's just show that you may be able to punch things that you wouldn't expect. This has that. So there's there is a great ending page on this where it's just like, okay, Donny Cates, you got me. I'll pick up the next issue. I maybe didn't love, like, wasn't like blown away by this book, but that necessarily doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily have to be. I think this is certainly like probably the book Cates works on after he puts off his focus and attention into Venom. That requires a lot out of him. This is probably the book he writes after that really quickly. It's like, okay, this is just going to be my the cleansing palette, as they say. But if you read Cosmic Ghost Rider, I'd be interested in getting your opinions on it. Have you enjoyed it? Thoughts about it? Check out, mention it in the comment section below. If you want to listen to more of me, check out my podcast, Comic Concierge, as well as go to geekcastradio.com. But that's it for me. Remember that comics are for everyone. The key is finding the right one. Until next time, thanks for watching.